Hey, Abe.
Yes, Jared?
How much molasses does it take to drown a horse? Hey, everybody. Welcome back to That's History, Babe. I'm Jared.
And I'm Abe.
And I'm really happy to be here today because we're talking about a topic that's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
So
Close to home.
Really close to home.
Like, just a stone's throw.
40 miles, give or take.
In America, that's a stone's throw.
It's a stone's
that's
throw.
very close.
I heard that, like, somebody was talking about it, like in the UK, they were like, it's hours away. It's 20 miles from here.
I know, I saw that and I was like, right.
I'm like, right. Okay, cool. Right. I'm like, I work 20 miles from my house.
I'm like, I think I lived 10 miles from the closest grocery store growing up.
You Europeans, you don't know what cars are.
You have no idea.
Oh, God. So, Abe, how are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I skinned my knees.
I can see that.
I think that's my Annals, actually.
Oh, that's your Annals. Okay, skipping right ahead to Annals.
Yeah,
Abe,
there's
your
nothing
Annal.
notable to talk about today for me, but
Okay.
I was on a walk. I was simply on a little walk,
On a
little
jaunt?
stroll through the neighborhood. I was like feeling it. I was having fun. I was listening to my music. I was listening to like Nina Geraci.
Can't say I'm familiar with her work,
Wait,
but okay.
that's not her name. Nina Geraci.
Nina Geraci?
Yeah, I think
Nina
that's
Geraci?
I think that's her name. She has a song called "Fuck My Computer."
Okay.
And
okay.
I'm hustling. I'm diva. I see like a really cute house. And my friends and I played a little game a few weeks ago of what does your dream house look like? It can be anywhere. You can like make up geography that like doesn't exist. I was like, it's right by the mountain. It's like nestled in the mountains, but it's also right next to the ocean, but not in a flood zone, no danger of an earthquake. And the city is also 10 minutes away, but it is completely rural.
And there's no wildfires either.
No.
Okay, so you live literally nowhere. Okay. Because I was going to say
It's
Southern
your dream
California.
house. It's your dream house.
But when you said no earthquakes, and I'm like, okay, also probably
and it has
no
all
fire.
4 seasons.
And there's, okay. Oh, and there's all four. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So like that's what I mean. Like you can make up geography. You can
Okay.
like construct it yourself. But anyways, I saw a house that looked just like the one that I said was my dream house.
Right.
And I was like, cool. So I took a picture. I sent it to my group chat. And then one right next to it sounded like one of the other ones my friends described. So I take a picture, send it. I'm texting it to my friends. And you know when the tree grows from under the paver, right?
Yes,
It grows under the paver.
And it lifts it up.
And the edge got me. And at first I thought I just stumbled. And I like tried to catch myself. But then it was like I fell in like slow motion. And I felt.
And you're like, I'm going down.
And
you
I
fall
felt my
slow
knee
enough.
like hit the ground and then skid. And I was like, oh. And I was like, fuck. And then it's like on a residential street, beautiful houses. This isn't like on a sidewalk. Like this isn't like on a city sidewalk. It's like in my neighborhood, but really pretty. Families, etc. And anyways, when I fell, like my hat flew off. It was so embarrassing.
And I asked you when you first told me about this, I was like, oh my God, did someone stop and ask you if you were okay? And you were like, no,
absolutely not.
No one did.
Absolutely not. I like myself, like I had so much shit in my hands and then like my hat flew off like on impact. And I had really like greasy, bad, sweaty hair. So it looked really bad too.
You probably look so disheveled.
And I like went to the Walgreens and I got stuff and I put it on my knee in the Walgreens.
So we're all struggling today.
Yeah, basically. Oh, actually, struggle. My friends, we came up with a new character called the Struggler. It's
The
like
Struggler?
Yeah, he's like, I'm the Struggler. I've been trying to park for 15 minutes. Ah. It's like the Riddler, but he's just always like going through something. I'm going through a breakup.
My chronic illness is flaring up.
God, the AC in my apartment broke. I'm the Struggler. Yeah. So whenever
can't get a good night's sleep because my neighbors play loud music.
So whenever something happens to one of us, we're always like, girl, you're the Struggler right now.
Girl, you're not being visited by the struggler. You are.
Yeah, it's
the
something you
struggler.
become.
You become the
You
struggler.
become the struggler. Like, girl, you're the struggler right now.
Oh, my
And
God.
it has to be something that's kind of like nothing that's independently like really, really bad and big on its own.
Right,
But
it's
a
like-
couple of like small things that add up, and you're just like, damn,
It's
girl,
like
you're the
menial,
struggler.
everyday inconveniences that like drive you to insanity.
Yeah, you're like, my coworker was really mean to me today.
right.
And then I got caught in the rain without an umbrella. And then I missed the bus by 1 second. And it's like, damn, girl, you're the struggler.
Somebody was really mean to me for no reason.
Yeah.
Mean and rude for no reason. That shit like that will literally ruin my whole day. If someone's
It
mean
really
to me for no
will.
reason, I will be like,
I don't like it. I mean, it honestly won't ruin my whole day.
I'm a highly sensitive person.
But it'll piss me off for the rest of the day.
But before I do my annals, we should do costume check because
God, yes.
it might look like I'm not wearing any pants because of the camouflage, but I am wearing pants.
He has to be. We had a whole HR thing recently.
We did. We had a write up. Who's running?
Deirdre.
Deirdre's running.
Deirdre's HR because
Bunny
she's
does
effective,
payroll, and
but-
that's why we haven't been paid.
yes.
Right.
And Deirdre's effective but mean.
Right.
Right.
Sort of looks at you like.
And she'll like bite you, but like as you're walking away from her, she'll come up behind you and like bite your calves.
And she's like, "Here's your."
She's
paycheck."
never done that to you, but she has done that to me several times.
Sounds
And
like
I'm
something
always
she
like,
would do.
stop. Like,
She knows better because if she did that, I would instinctually just kick her.
and then I look down at her and she's like airplane ears, like looking at me like, and I'm like, oh my God. Sound off in the comments if you have a cat that also sometimes just
Bites your calves.
turns
apparently.
on you for no
for
reason.
no reason.
Bunny doesn't do that to me, but Deirdre definitely does.
Deirdre-
Anyways, what's your costume?
Oh no, I just did my. Oh well.
No, you didn't.
I'm
You
a
just
little,
said that you didn't. You said you had pants on.
I'm like a newsy page boy right now. I'm like walking around and being like,
yeah.
hey fellas, let me pick up some garbage if you pay me a nickel.
Yeah.
That's me. And
Oh, okay.
what are you?
I am a piece of moldy Boston brown bread, which is made with molasses. And it is it's kind of segues into the topic of our episode today. And I think can I revise your costume for you? Because I had an
Sure,
idea.
go ahead.
I think that you're running around in the days after going, extra, extra,
Right.
molasses floods the city.
Because that's what we're talking about today. We're
Yeah.
talking about the Great Molasses Flood of 1919.
Yeah.
A story it's stranger than fiction, really.
Like it does, like when you first hear of it, you're like, that is made up. You're
and
like,
then
that's,
you're like, no. As we will explore today,
yeah.
the toll was very much not made up. Real horrifying human toll of this
It is.
catastrophe.
It's
yeah.
really, really bad, but it does sound like a piece of like the lore from the inner universe of the misadventures of Flapjack.
It sounds like an idea that was scrapped from the final draft of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
or perhaps Charlie and the Chocolate
Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my annals, first of all, today I was at the DMV and that sucked ass and I don't want to talk about it. And if you...
It always does. It's horrible.
I tried to convince myself today. I'm like, well, it's not going to be as bad as the stereotypes. It was as bad as the stereotypes.
If
It
there's
literally
any experience that makes you feel almost subhuman,
the Department of Motor Vehicles.
it's just
yeah.
sitting there. I feel like I'm it's like a cattle call.
And I was not prepared for the fact that like the computer voice that does the call of people's numbers and tells them what counter to go to never really stops. Like the whole time
No, it's
you're
just
there,
going.
they're just calling bingo numbers
Yep.
just the whole time. And I'm like, this is what purgatory is. Like this is purgatory.
Yeah.
And and then I was trying to imagine like a real purgatory, like what if it was this, like how would they make it even worse?
Yeah.
And it would be like you don't have any distractions. So there's no phone, and also there's a ton of loud and super annoying and confused people around you because
Yeah.
that was happening today. There
Some
was
of them
like
even angry.
there was a gaggle of like there were 3 or 4 old women who were confused and angry and couldn't understand elementary instructions. And so they were like, who called my number? I don't know where to go. I'm confused, and making it everyone else's
Yeah.
problem. And I'm like, figure it out. I don't know.
Somehow all of us have.
Right. Whatever. I can't. But my real annals is that I was sexploited this weekend. It was.
Which is so much better than my Annals.
I was sex-exploited.
But you know what we have in common?
What?
We're both very brave.
We are
We're
very
both
brave.
Very, very
you
brave.
You scraped your knee and you were so brave about it, and I was exploited and I was really brave.
You were
about
blackmailed.
It. So for those of you who don't know what sexploitation is, I'm an idiot who sends nude photos to strangers on Grindr all the time. And so one guy was like, "Want to trade pics?" I was like, "Sure." He sent his first. I sent mine second. Usually how it goes. And then he was like, "Let's take this off this app because I'm not usually on here." That should have been a red flag, but it was a Saturday night and I was kind of horned up. So I was like, "Sure, here's my phone number. Here's my personal phone number."
Oh,
so I did that. And we talked for a little bit. Then the next morning, 8 a.m., I get a barrage of texts and a barrage of phone calls. I don't answer any of the calls, but the texts are like, "I have all of your naked photos." And he sent me screenshots. He'd obviously done literally the worst reverse name search in the history of mankind because he had found all the contact information for my family members. None of these people were. He found one that was my cousin that I haven't talked to in a while and don't talk to regularly. And I was like,
you're like, okay.
Sure. Everybody else, I was like, those are strangers. I'm not related to any of those people. He did have one phone number that it had my dad's name, but the phone number that they had listed was the old landline phone number for the house that my parents sold 2 years ago. And I was like, okay.
Right.
Right. And so, and he also was like, "You have to meet my demand. You must meet my demand within the next 10 seconds or I'm sending this to everyone.
Seconds?
I'm sending this to your employer."
You can't even
Joke's on him, my employer. Okay,
there isn't one.
He's like, "I'm just going to throw it into the wind. Unless you want to hire me."
He's available.
He's like, "I'm sending it to your employer unless you meet my demand, my unspecified demand." Because I did.
Yeah, did he tell you how much money he
No dollar amount. There was no demand. He was just like, "Meet my demand immediately." And so I was like,
you're like, "Well, what do you want?"
I literally was like, "I'm filing a report with the FBI Cyber Security Task Force and goodbye." And so I blocked him on everything and that was sort of that.
Did you file a report with the FBI?
No.
I didn't think so.
I should have. But no, if this happens to you, you should do that. You should file some kind of report. But yeah, so I was like, also, this is 2026. If you want to extort me,
you're going to need more than nude
photos. Do you know how many hundreds of people have seen those by this point? Like, come on.
It's kind of
come on now.
Secrets out.
Right.
We're so brave.
We're brave,
and I think what happened to us was equally bad.
I think so too. I think yours might be a little bit worse because you suffered bodily harm and I didn't. So
yeah, check this out. In my other knee, it's so bruised. Look at that nasty bruise.
And it's probably
and you don't even want to see it under here. It's coming up because there's so much goop in it.
I don't think it's ever gonna get better. I think it's gonna stay like that forever.
Do you think they're gonna take my leg?
Imagine next week Abe has no legs.
Well, that could happen.
No, it couldn't. It really
couldn't. It could. If I got an infection.
That's not gonna happen.
But what if I did?
Do I play into this for my own entertainment? I think the answer is yes.
So, Jared, what are our 5 W's?
Our 5 W's today. Who? The people of Boston's North End. The North End is a neighborhood in Boston. I will be talking about it a lot today. It's where our story takes place. But specifically the people of Boston's North End on the afternoon of January 15th, 1919, including residents, workers, sailors on a ship nearby, and also many police, firefighters, Red Cross nurses, city officials who flocked to the area in the wake of the disaster, and other first responders, various first responders.
So everyone's there.
Lots of people.
Everybody's here. This is where it's all happening.
Everybody's here. Everybody's covered in molasses.
Come with me
in various
to go to Boston's North End
and
to
get covered in
molasses.
What? Shoddy engineering, obviously.
Perfect.
Cronyism. A destroyed railway bridge. Collapsed houses. Disenfranchised immigrants. Absurd legal arguments. The First World War. And over 2 million gallons of molasses. 2 million gallons. So much.
Sticky. That's so sticky.
So sticky.
Oh.
No, honestly.
Sorry, let me address if anyone sees this weird cup. This is a cup that they give you when you do prep for a colonoscopy.
And it's a cup that Abe just casually drinks out of every day.
And it's a perfect 16-ounce cup. And And obviously it's been washed. It's not like I poop in the cup.
Well, that's
it's like I drink
you should
this stuff
specify
out of the cup.
because at first I was like, do you poop in the cup?
No, they give you a solution to make you shit your guts out, and then this cup is because you have to drink 16 ounces every like many hours.
Got you. IBS warriors
to
stand
drink
up.
all of the solution, and then your poop goes straight into the toilet like a fucking fire hose.
Oh,
it's
wow.
insane.
I'm
If
sure.
anything, it's kind of like on topic.
It's a little topic. I
sounds a
didn't
little
want to draw that. I thought about saying that, but I was like, okay, that's a little gross. But it is kind of topical. So I'm glad
the molasses ended up being worse than I think the poop would have been.
I'm glad you made that tie-in. Yeah, because that so far has not been fatal. The molasses was unfortunately fatal. When? Wednesday, January the 15th, 1919, but also in the years leading up to it. We will be mostly focused on the years 1915 to 1925.
Oh.
So a little bit before, a little bit after.
Okay.
But also I'm going to touch on like the origins of the North End, and so we'll talk a little bit briefly some centuries before then.
Yeah, because you said the people of the North End, and I'm like, I got to know who these people are.
Oh, and you're going to find out, my friend. Where? Boston, Massachusetts, obviously, specifically the North End neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, the why. The story of the Great Molasses Flood can sound to the uninitiated like an urban legend. The details are that unbelievable. But in exploring the details of the flood, we come face to face with the ugliest parts of American society at the turn of the century. Municipal corruption and mismanagement, urban poverty, corporate negligence, and the treatment of non-citizens in the wake of a foreign war. It also shows the necessity of the reforms being sought by contemporary progressives during the progressive era.
Mm-hmm.
The Great Molasses Flood and the events that followed it provide perhaps the most lurid and unforgettable examples of a dysfunctional state being forced into reform by its own calamitous incompetence. In this respect, it's a lesson from the past and a warning for the future.
Oh my God. Sorry, calamitous incompetence? I know you wrote that and you were like, yeah.
That
period.
sentence, I'm going to read that sentence one more
Yeah,
time
can we
because
have it
I'm
again?
really proud of it.
Can we have it again?
The Great Molasses Flood and the events that followed it provide perhaps the most lurid and unforgettable examples of a dysfunctional state being forced into reform by its own calamitous incompetence.
Let's fucking go.
LFG, baby. LFG.
Speaking of Boston's North Ends and immigrants, I'm also eating kielbasa and pierogi that I made for my man.
She is.
I made dinner for him.
I already ate mine and it was delicious.
But I've been a little slow tonight. My appetite, IBS warriors, again. Like, some days
Pendulum
it's just
swing.
tough to really put it away.
Right.
So I'm going to be intermittently putting it away throughout the episode.
That's fine. I'll just cut away from you while you do that.
Yeah, so people don't have to see
you going.
Just disgusting. That's exactly how I eat.
She insists on eating on all fours, and so she comes in and just sort of,
Wait, speaking of eating on all fours.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I would go
so
stay
terrified of where this is going.
I would go stay at my grandma's house in the hills.
Yeah.
In like the summer and the winter. And in the summer, I'd be sitting at the counter eating my corn pops. And because that was my favorite cereal.
It was mine too.
I love
corn pops.
I love corn pops. I would eat my corn pops, and then my grandma, she had like a couple of cats, and so she would get the little tin bowls out and put a little wet food in them in the morning and then put them on the ground in the kitchen, and I would sit at the counter and they would be on the ground. And I was like, Grandma, I want to eat with the cats. I was probably like 4, 5. And she was,
oh God.
and she was like, okay. And so I put my bowl of corn pops on the ground and I started to like eat them
it on all fours
like
like a cat?
Like a cat. 'Cause
okay. You know what?
it's funny.
It is funny.
cute.
It's adorable.
Because my grandma thought I was gonna like sit on the ground and like eat it with a spoon.
And no, it's you
And
putting
I, like,
your
put it on the
face
ground
in
and
the
then was
bowl.
like- I was like trying to lap up the milk. I was like, I am the cats. Like, how do they do this?
And that really explains a lot about your personality today. Because
Thank you.
cat number 1, right off camera. Cat number 2, somewhere under your bed right now.
It was like meant to be.
It was
but
meant to be.
You know what? I think it's cute.
And on our Patreon next week will be video of Abe eating
I'll be recreating it.
corn pops like a cat. So just
Meow.
keep your eye out for that.
Meow.
The beats that we're going to cover today.
Yeah, let's get back to this.
Not that I wasn't riveted by that story.
No, as
I
soon as I said, speaking of eating on all fours, you went, yeah.
Yeah? I was really hoping you were gonna. I was thinking it might turn into some like eating ass thing, or I don't know.
No,
But, okay.
Jared, I'm not you.
Sorry. Oh, fuck you.
God.
Fuck you. That's too real. But anyway, I just got sexploited. Okay,
I'm sorry. It's a sensitive time for you.
Really.
I'm sorry.
The beats for this episode. We're gonna talk a little bit about Boston's North End. What is it? Who lived there? Who lives there now? What did it look like specifically in the winter of 1918 into 1919? Then we're going to talk about the tank, which is the receptacle out of which the molasses flood came. The tank of molasses. How did that tank of molasses get to the North End? And what was all that fucking molasses for?
Yeah, what was it all doing there? Why was so much they needed a tank?
Why did they need millions of gallons of molasses?
I mean, I know why, but I'm asking for you guys because you probably
don't know why. Right.
But I know.
Because
I'm smarter than you.
Exactly.
And I'm better than you.
Exactly. That's why we have a podcast. Then we're going to talk about the explosion itself, just the details of the explosion. I drew a lot from contemporary news reporting, newspapers from the time. And then the aftermath. So there was an inquiry, an investigation, and then there was a trial. And then we'll talk briefly about the legacy, the lasting legacy of the Great Molasses Flood. But just to kick us off right now, I want to set the scene for you. I want to tell you a story. This is very narrative.
Okay.
I'm going to paint you a picture with words right now.
So is that a good time to eat a pierogi?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll do as little Polish children in Boston have done for decades now, and eat my pierogi and listen to the story of the flood.
Exactly. Abe is doing something we've been doing for generations in Boston, in my native city. So picture this. It's early afternoon, Wednesday, January 15th, 1919. The Great War has been over for just 2 months. 35 of the required 36 states have ratified the 18th Amendment, and prohibition looks like soon, perhaps in a matter of days, it will become the law of the land. In the city of Boston, it's 40 degrees outside, which is an unseasonably warm day for January. Boston Police Patrolman Frank McManus is walking up Commercial Street in Boston's North End when he stops at a police call box to make a routine report of his rounds. Suddenly, several cracks in quick succession cut through the air. McManus later described the sounds as being like rapid machine gun fire. Then, an ominous grinding and groaning sound as the ground began to shake beneath him.
Oh my God.
McManus turned down Commercial Street and watched in disbelief as the 5-story molasses tank at the opposite end of the road broke apart, sending 2.3 million gallons of molasses spilling into the streets.
Oh, God.
He yells frantically into the phone for every available ambulance and police unit to respond to the scene and rushes toward the area of the disaster. By day's end, 21 people are dead and 150 others are injured.
Oh my God. Okay, first of all, great job.
Thank you.
Second of all, the FERC?
I know. I know. You're just going about your business one day. 5-story tank of molasses bursts onto your street.
I'm thinking about like the machine gun sounds.
Right.
Like the cracks that sound like a machine gun.
And also, it's just like the fact that, and you find in a lot of the contemporary news reporting of this event too, a lot of references to weapons of war. Also, weapons of war is related to why all the molasses were there. Was there. There's a very martial sort of mood, like vibe that sort of permeates this entire story, because this is a country that is just starting to demobilize from the Great War, from World War I.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that like hearing what sounds like machine gun fire and then this massive, whoosh and tremble of the whole world, and it must have felt very warlike, and frightening in a place and in a time that was already probably very tense for
absolutely.
the people.
And I'm also thinking about how this neighborhood has a lot of immigrants in it who presumably were still in Europe.
Some of them
probably,
yeah.
When
in places like Italy,
yeah,
and in
probably
places like
came from
like Ireland.
At least some of them came from there, either fleeing the war or knew people in the war, or
had family that were still in the old country who were facing the
so,
war and stuff like that. Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So that is sort of.
And then it's molasses.
And then it's not
then
even
it's
like
fucking molasses.
It's not a normal thing to be inundated with, like, you know, water. It's fucking molasses, dude.
I mean, even like I would say water, anything like that, like sewage even feels more like normal because we're like, oh yeah, that's a thing that is contained.
And it's under the street, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
but
right.
Molasses.
Right. And that's why I think this story sticks in so many people's minds. You know,
Sticks.
I am from Sticks.
Well, it's very sticky.
I am from Massachusetts, right?
Mhm.
As we all know. And I heard
Yeah.
I grew up my whole life hearing this story. Like I don't know. I think a lot of people though don't know about this story.
I don't think so. The only I know about it from I saw it on Drunk History when I was like probably in high school.
Yeah.
Other than that, I didn't hear about it.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah. I mean,
but it was requested as well by somebody.
And I was only too happy to oblige because I love this story.
We were like, and we'll put a pin in this one.
Well, I feel weird saying I love it, but I'm fascinated by this story.
Yeah,
Let's
like,
just say that.
We don't love that it happened and people died.
Because we'll talk about, because once you, and I hadn't really encountered a lot of these narratives until I was doing research for this episode, but once you hear the actual stories of the people who lived through this,
it's horrifying.
It's horrifying.
Because at first you're like, haha, molasses. How bad can
and
it
then
be?
it's worse than you could possibly think. But
it's worse than you could imagine.
We will get there. But
yeah.
Before we get into the details of the event, if you want to understand the Great Molasses Flood, you really do have to get a sense of the North End of Boston. So the North End it's a tiny, compact neighborhood. It's very narrow streets, a lot of cobblestone streets, winding alleys, short, curvy, winding roads, narrow apartments with these super steep stairwells. A big immigrant population, as we'll get into.
It was kind of like Lower Manhattan.
Oh, yeah,
in New York.
Sort of. Yeah, like Lower Manhattan vibe. Like
parts of like Chinatown, Fide-Eye, Little Italy.
Right. But imagine if like
like the density of Little Italy in Chinatown. And then that kind of like that old feeling that Fide-Eye has where it has those old cobblestone streets and you're like, wait, which way am I supposed to turn? Because it's like it's not a grid at all. It's just kind of like
no grid. Yeah. But the North End, the reason it's called the North End is because it refers to the north end of the Shawmut Peninsula.
Shawmut?
Shawmut. SHAWMUT.
Okay.
Now the Shawmut Peninsula is literally just the city of Boston. So before they had filled in the ocean. The city of Boston existed on a peninsula, but it was really connected to the rest of Massachusetts Bay Colony through this very narrow land bridge. Oh, and so it was just sort of like a patch of land with very a lot of inlets and like coves and very porous sort of shoreline. And this was the north end of that of the Shawmut Peninsula.
Okay,
in the colonial days, a lot of the city's bigwigs actually lived in the north end.
Okay,
so
fancy.
People like the Mathers. The Mathers were very, very important clergymen, Puritan clergymen, and thinkers and intellectuals in the colonial period. Why does that sound so familiar? Increase Mather and his son Cotton Mather.
Increase and Cotton?
Yes, Increase Mather
giving
and Cotton Mather.
Unique names for your baby in 2026.
Increase.
Cotton.
Deduct. Like, why is your name Increase? What are you talking
about?
Interval. Quotient. I'm naming my son Quotient. I always love that word.
Quotient would be a beautiful name for a baby boy.
Quotient Gregory.
Quotient Gregory Rusbum
O'Toole.
We have a son.
Quotient Gregory.
That's a little inside joke.
Yeah, we'll tell you guys about it someday.
Yeah, maybe.
So the Mathers lived in the North End.
Okay.
But probably the most famous colonial resident of the North End was Paul Revere.
Oh, I've heard of him.
You can still go to Paul Revere's house, which is...
Is it cool?
It is cool. I've been there. It's in the North End. And also the Old North Church is in the North End. So the whole 1 if by land, 2 if by sea, lanterns in the steeple, the British are coming.
Yeah.
That all happened.
This whole thing.
In Boston's North End.
Wow.
Right? But by the beginning of the 19th century, the North End was becoming a densely populated immigrant neighborhood. Mostly at first populated by the Irish and
and I know the Wasps
hated them.
this.
Yes, the Irish eventually spread out into different neighborhoods of the city. They're heavily associated now with South Boston, Southie.
Yeah,
but
very much. If anyone's ever seen literally anything that takes place in Boston,
right? But like The Departed, The Town, I'm trying to think of other Boston.
It was like
movies.
My Brother Frankie.
All my brothers are buried here.
Wait, are you talking about
The TikTok?
that
yeah.
one? So good.
My 17 brothers, they're all buried here. It was also populated, though, Abe, you'll be interested to know, by Eastern European Jews. They lived on Salem Street. And then toward like the second half of the 19th century, the Italians really start to settle in the North End in droves. And now... And for, generations now, the North End has been like the Italian section of Boston. If you go there today, it is sort of the Italian cultural
get like
spot
a piece of pizza.
Boston. They have excellent Italian food, cannoli, Mike's Pastries.
I like those lobster
Modern Bakery.
tails.
Yeah, like great Italian bakeries and Italian spots in the North End of Boston.
Shout out Italians.
But
Italian Americans. Sorry.
Italian Americans, sorry. But as we're approaching the time that the Molasses Flood happens, the neighborhood is for all intents and purposes a slum. So
sounds about right. I mean, it's where they put the Eastern Europeans and the Irish and the Italians, and it's kind of like, do you guys think it was a gated community?
No, sorry. The gated community is on Beacon Hill.
It's on Beacon Hill,
We
and
live on the hill.
It's for real white people.
And we look down on you because we're the real white people.
Crazy.
But they, so geographically, Boston's a really small city, like really small.
Oh, I've been there.
And the North End is 1/2 of 1 square mile.
Really?
I just verified this because I was questioning myself based on your reaction. But Boston's North End covers an area of just 0.36 square miles. So it's 1/2 of a square mile, rounded up. I'm rounding up to 1/2.
Wow. Yeah, don't let my incredulity... oh, my God.
Incredulity?
I just had a stroke.
Incredulity?
Don't let my...
Yeah, she just gave up on that word. That's probably for the best. So
I'm so much better at talking when this thing isn't on.
And when you're not eating fucking pierogi.
And when I'm not eating pierogies.
So yeah, 1/2 of 1 square mile. And in 1919, 40,000 people lived in the North End. So 40,000 people packed into less than 1/2 of a square mile. And most of the apartments, if we can even call them that existed in the North End are what we would call cold water flats. So that means there was no piping system for hot water. There was internal plumbing, but it was you could only get cold water.
Yeah.
And probably there was only 1 indoor bathroom for either per floor or per building. So everybody was sharing a bathroom, and there was also no...
Oh, I know it smelled crazy in there.
There was no central heating system either in a cold water flat. So these apartments are old, they're drafty, a lot of them are very dirty.
Oh my God. They're old, cold, and full of mold.
Right. And and because you made it rhyme, it doesn't sound so bad now. So thank you. I appreciate that.
I love to whitewash horrible things. It's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, it was a very, I think, tough place to live for a lot of these people.
Yeah, I'd say
they're
so.
They're very poor. They're working class, recent immigrants. They're learning the language.
Yeah.
They work on the wharves and on the docks, or they work in other manual labor.
And they have to live with the Bostonians.
And they have to live among Bostonians.
And that's the worst part of it all. Is like they're in Boston.
You watch yourself, okay?
They were like, wait, we thought we were going to New York.
Today, the North End is like a tourist destination. Like people do love to go there.
It's lovely.
Yeah, but at that time, it is a very it's a like almost a small town feel sometimes when you go there, because people there's a lot of people that still live there, like families that still live there, and it's now a very expensive neighborhood to live in, if you can believe it. But yeah, at the
not
time,
like Little Italy.
No, of course not. Which is, as we all know, incredibly cheap and affordable.
Same with Fidei.
But yeah, so it's a very different picture though at the time that we're talking about. So that's a brief overview of the North End. But before we move into the discussion of the tank, do you have any questions for me?
I guess what is the geographically?
Yeah.
Where is the tank in the North End?
Okay. So
is it in between? I guess I guess my question is it like right on the water and it's just gonna and it's only really affects the north end, or is it in between the north end and another part of the city?
So it is on Commercial Street.
Okay.
On the north end, so it's right on the waterfront.
Yeah.
Actually, so today, if you go to the site of where the tank was,
It's a
because
Lululemon.
there, no, that is some shit they would do, but
I
it's
know.
actually there's like a placard and you can go and read about it.
Mhm.
And today, it's a Little League field, which is right on the water.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's literally it's right on the water because
Yeah.
we'll when I
Because
explain
the industrial stuff factories.
the ships
Yeah.
had to pull right up, right, and sort of
That is how commerce worked back then. I'm like, why didn't they just drive?
right. Why didn't they just get in their car?
Why
and
didn't they just get in their truck?
and just haul it?
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we can't. That hasn't been invented yet.
They don't have way stations yet.
Exactly. So the tank is constructed on Commercial Street
Yeah.
in late 1915. It stands atop a concrete base, and it's made of these overlapping steel plates that are all riveted together.
Okay. So
It's-
is that like pretty like kind of standard for the time? Like
yeah. Well, that's part of the problem, or that's part of what's at play here.
Yeah.
Is that they, of course, had to submit plans and had to do, other sort of on paper oversight or regulatory
Okay.
actions.
mm-hmm.
But the actual execution of this project and the construction of it, as we will see, was not up to snuff. So,
Okay. So it's like they weren't. It wasn't like they were trying to do something.
like flagrantly.
Yeah, it was like what was expected at the time, or the way that it was done was.
It was like enough.
I guess just like, is this a typical molasses tank or big industrial tank?
I mean, I would have to think in its, surface level appearance. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm not a total expert on that. So
What do you mean you're not a total expert
on
on
molasses tanks?
on big industrial tanks from 1919?
I know. I'm so embarrassed.
We get
right
a
now.
doctorate for every episode that we do.
Why would you bring this up in front of them? Because now I'm humiliated. God.
I did it to make myself look better
You
because
always
I
do.
couldn't say incredulously.
What is-
incredulity.
The owners of the molasses tank were it was built by this company called the Purity Distilling Company, which was a subsidiary of a larger company called the United States Industrial Alcohol Company. Now you might be saying, molasses, that's not alcohol. You thought. Molasses has many practical industrial uses, and it had a long history in New England. Of course, it was a food staple.
Yeah.
It was
Yum,
a
yum, yum.
sweetener. It was used in baking
Yeah.
products.
Guys ever had gingerbread? That's got molasses in it.
If you want to learn more about how molasses as a food was used and how it was developed as a cash crop, you should watch our bonus episode, which is coming out on Friday, aka tomorrow, on our Patreon and also on our YouTube memberships.
Yeah, because
So,
YouTube membership, that's coming
that's-
down the line.
It's already up, actually.
Oh my God.
So
It's confirmed.
look into it, you guys.
Look into it if you will kind of want to know what bonus content we're doing, but
You're going to get your
you-
first taste.
you're not like a Patreon person. Do it and taste,
Taste
I
our
like what you did there.
sticky goodness.
because
Taste the biscuit.
it was special.
It's what we did.
What we did was
Very special. So, yeah, very many practical industrial uses for molasses.
Mhm.
It's used to be refined into industrial alcohol, and also to make nitroglycerin, a key component in explosives.
awesome.
And in
okay.
the 1910s,
What the hell makes it?
I'm not a chemist. I was
No.
prepared for you to ask this question.
You knew
because
I would.
I knew you would be like, but how does it make? I don't
Because
know.
I'm a curious cat.
I know you are.
That's
and
why I ate my corn pops on the
your
floor.
corn pops on the floor.
That's why I ate my corn pops
on
on
the
the floor.
like a curious kitty. Meow. That's you.
Meow.
And to not answer your curious kitty question, I have no fucking idea how nitroglycerin.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put a pin in that for myself, and I'm gonna figure it out.
Okay. Cool. Sugar. I'm imagining sugar,
Sugar
but I don't. Still,
exploding.
in my brain, I can't get from sugar to dynamite. Like, I just
Exploded.
don't know
How you make explode?
How you make it explode? The Boston Globe, in their coverage of the disaster, because I was also a little bit unclear about why the tank was in this particular area.
Yeah.
They had this context about why the tank was there.
Okay.
So molasses, this is from January 16th, 1919. Molasses was brought to the tank from the sugar-growing countries and pumped from the vessels into the receptacle, aka the tank.
The big giant tank.
The big giant tank.
Okay.
From which it was taken whenever needed in tank cars over the Boston Elevated train to the Purity Company's distillery on Cambridge Street, Cambridge.
I don't like that it's called the Purity Company, by the way. I was eating a pierogi when you said it initially, so I didn't get to voice my distaste. But I do not like that they're calling it that.
And especially
considering that their molasses
was impure and was actually murderous.
It was murderous molasses.
Murderous molasses.
I love how they're like purity, yet they're importing molasses from. And when they say sugar-producing countries, they mean the Caribbean. They mean Latin America.
Correct.
They mean places
where it's
sugar,
warm enough to grow sugarcane.
Exactly, which historically were also hotbeds of slavery.
Which, again, Patreon. We talk about that. So, but most of the Italians who lived in the North End, and this is an explanation of why the tank ended up on Commercial Street in the first place, the Italians and the other immigrants, most of them, are not citizens.
Yeah.
So they can't vote. So local politicians look at this.
They're like,
they say,
oh, we
these
don't give
people-
a fuck.
They're like, they're our constituents, but they're not voters. So
Yeah,
what the
so
fuck do I care?
I don't care what they think.
What are they going to do? Vote me out of office?
They can't.
They can't.
Ugh, that's nasty.
So
that is
one reason
that feels duplicitous.
why the tank also ended up on that particular waterfront.
I know it's allowed, but it feels very duplicitous.
Right. It is. Well, it's not so much duplicitous as like just
Scummy. Yeah, it's scummy and it's
because they would say it right
wrong.
to your. They probably say it to your
Yeah.
face. They'd
Well,
probably
it's
be
just
like, "Who's going to stop me? You? You
It's
can't
just,
vote."
It's like it's about the Upper
Upper
West
West Side.
Side homeless shelter
And speak on it.
and those people being like, how can you have this next to a playground? And I'm like, girl, what do you think the rest of the city is like? Also 59th Street. It's not the Upper West Side.
You don't get to claim the 15. You don't get to
You're
claim
Midtown.
59th Street as the Upper West Side. First of all,
That's Midtown. And second of all, fuck you.
Fuck you, people.
They're like, of course we need services for homeless people, just
Not
near
where I can
not
see
not
them.
where I can see them, not where I live. She was like, this neighborhood has a playground. Why would they put it there? I'm like, and do you think there are no playgrounds in poor neighborhoods or children?
Well, I think it's serendipitous that you just brought up a playground because you'll never guess what was in the surrounding vicinity to this fucking tank.
A playground?
Yes.
Oh my God. And see, that's a real example. You really should not put a playground by an industrial molasses tank.
Because it's not going to end well, especially if it's January of 1919 and you're on Commercial Street in Boston's North End. Let's return now to January 15th, 1919. So that opening scene that I laid out for you earlier with Frank McManus witnessing the explosion happen, the buildings in the area that are immediately decimated by first the burst out of the tank and the collapse of the tank and then the flow of this 2.3 million gallons of molasses. The buildings in the area that are affected immediately are several residences, the stables for a gravel yard nearby, the offices for that gravel yard as well, the headquarters of a fireboat, a Boston Fire Department fireboat.
Oh, God.
Elevated railway bridge, an elevated railway bridge that runs right next door, and a playground.
I was going to say, is it the fucking playground?
So, at its worst, this tidal wave of molasses, it's 15 feet high, 160 feet wide.
Oh, my God.
And it's moving into the streets at 35 miles per hour.
Whoa.
35 miles an hour.
You can't outrun that.
No, you can't outrun a 30. And also, it's like...
I don't know about
molasses.
you guys, but
Like,
I'm not that fast.
I'm not that fast.
And it's, you can't really, like, swim in it.
No, you can't.
You
It's a
just get
viscous fluid. I read an article about the physics of this because
Okay.
I was interested to learn more. And
That's science, babe.
the problem was, because I assumed, I was like, okay, well, when the molasses gets colder, it probably hardens. But that's actually not it. When it got colder, it didn't harden like cement. It became more viscous and more sticky and harder to move through.
Yeah, it's
and
thicker.
it became more like quicksand. Like
Yeah.
you
Ugh.
couldn't move
Ah!
Right. And you were
Oh,
up
it's
to
been
your
like a
waist or deeper.
Oh my god. Such
in
a
this
nightmare.
molasses.
Such a fucking nightmare.
So another article that I read was from the Boston Post, which was now defunct newspaper,
Yeah.
but it was a newspaper that covered this event extensively when it happened. Here's how they describe the immediate aftermath of the explosion. Here and there struggled a form. Whether it was animal or human being was impossible to tell. Only an upheaval, a thrashing about in the sticky mass, showed where any life was.
Oh my
Horses
God.
died like so many flies on sticky flypaper. The more they struggled, the deeper in the mess they were ensnared. Human beings, men and women, suffered likewise. People like
That's horrible.
when people like Frank McManus are arriving on the scene here, and also other first responders, that is what meets them. Is
Yeah.
like the wreckage of these houses that have been blown off their foundations,
Yeah.
and men, women, and children who were on the streets at the time or blown out of buildings, and horses too, because there was a
That's
stables. Also, just struggling to get out of this horrible sticky mess. It's probably a inconceivable sight to the people who stumbled upon this scene.
Yeah. You're like, what even is all? Is this molasses?
Is this fucking molasses?
Is this molasses?
Yeah, like
I mean, that much molasses, you'd probably think it was like tar first, with how dark it is and how much there is.
until you get to the smell, because
You haven't thought of the smell.
You haven't thought of the smell. As Dennis Reynolds says, you haven't
haven't
thought of the smell. So first responders are getting onto the scene, right?
Yeah.
But before we get into the first responders, I do want to talk about some of these people who, survivors who discussed their experience.
Yeah, I was
of
gonna say I
being
need
in
to
the
hear
midst
that.
of the flood.
Yeah. Tell me.
So I mentioned that fireboat house, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of firefighters that are there.
Okay.
They're playing whist, which is a card game.
I'm familiar.
They're playing whist when the whole building is brought down by the force of the explosion of the tank and the wave of molasses.
Well, shit.
One of these firefighters, his name is Bill Connor, he said in his court testimony about the disaster, quote, "It seemed weeks that we lay there under," because they're pinned, like the floor that they were on collapsed, right?
Yeah.
But the upper levels of the building held. So
Okay.
they're not crushed under the weight of the building, but they are trapped. It seemed weeks that
Is
we
the
lay.
molasses going to come in? Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Keep
It
going.
seemed weeks that we lay there. The flood of molasses at times flowed up to our ears. We bumped our heads on the floor above, trying to keep our noses and mouths above the fluid.
Oh my God.
One of the other firemen was trapped away from this other group of men, because there were a few men together who were trapped in the same sort of area that Bill Connor was.
Yeah.
This other man, his name is George Leahy. He's badly injured by
Yeah.
the collapse of the building, and he's pinned under a piano. And he's struggling, and they can hear him struggle and crying out for help. And they're trying to encourage him and tell him that help is on the way. But as the molasses level is rising, because it's flooding into the building, his strength gives out, and they hear him drown.
Oh
molasses.
God. Oh, that's awful.
It's a horrible, horrible experience for them, obviously.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Directly across Commercial Street from the tank
Yeah.
is a residence. There are a few residences, but one of these houses is owned by the Clordy family. They are an Irish family. The Clordy house was only feet away from the tank, and it was blown off of its foundations by the force of
Like a
the
twister.
explosion. Literally pushed off of its foundations.
That's crazy.
Bridget Clordy, who is the mother of the family, she is in the doorway of the house at the time of the explosion. She's blown out of the house, and the roof of the house apparently collapses on top of her and crushes her.
Oh
From
God.
the force of the explosion.
Oh my God.
Her son, Martin, he's famous in the neighborhood for being a boxing referee.
Oh.
He survives the explosion with his brother, and they are able to pull their sister out from the wreckage as well. But Martin searches in the debris for over an hour looking for his mother before first responders tell him that her body has been pulled from the wreckage and that she's dead.
Oh my God. That's so terrible.
It's a horrible, horrible, horrible thing for them to have to witness.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just the molasses or the collapse of these buildings that was hurting people. There's also debris, like projectiles from this massive, steel tank exploding like this. So there was a 2.5 ton chunk of steel that flew 182 feet from the site of the tank and crushed that playground that we were talking about. I didn't see any evidence that any children were harmed.
Well, thank God.
But there was a child, her name was Maria DeStasio, who was gathering firewood near the tank at the time of the explosion. She was 11 years old. She drowned in the molasses.
Oh.
Her 9-year-old brother, however, he was with her. He survived, but he suffered a skull fracture.
Oh my
which
God.
he received from a piece of that steel debris that flew
Yeah.
off of the tank.
Yeah. Wow.
And so this steel debris is a huge hazard at the time of the explosion, and it destroys a lot of those buildings and structures and kills a lot of people nearby as well. It's also the reason why I mentioned that elevated railway bridge. That bridge collapses, a portion of it collapses because a huge chunk of that steel tank crashes into it and causes the supports to just collapse.
Wow.
And a commuter train actually almost goes over.
Oh.
But
they don't.
A quick thinking conductor runs 4 cars to the back of the train and pulls the emergency brake and stops it.
Wow.
And so he saves all of the people who were on that train.
Wow.
So it's a really hectic, chaotic, disturbing environment to step into for these people.
I mean, it's like a war zone.
It is exactly like a war zone, yeah. And they draw this parallel directly as well. In the Boston Globe article that I read, they said the scene looked as though a shell from Big Bertha, which is the nickname for the German howitzer gun that was being used in World War I.
Yeah.
Massive, huge caliber gun that was,
Yeah.
it was as if Big Bertha had dropped a shell in the middle of the city. So it's like a war zone.
Yeah.
And the Boston Post, in their article, they said the first responders, after a few hours, they described it like this. Quote, "Those already on duty were soon covered from head to foot with brown syrup and blood."
The blood would be indistinguishable from the molasses.
The only thing that could have distinguished it would be the scent. And the scent of molasses permeates
really powerful
everywhere. It's the whole neighborhood reeks of this molasses, and it smells like this for years. And we will talk about the long tail of that molasses smell in a little bit.
Yeah, you survived this.
That's part of this story.
If you survived this, you'd be finding molasses in places
that you didn't even know it could get to.
You didn't even know it could get to. You didn't even know you had.
I didn't even know I had crevices where I was. But I was finding
and cracks,
crevices
but
in
I'm
those
smelling
molasses.
the molasses. I'm smelling it.
All right.
You're like, is it just me or
under your toenails?
Oh God.
In that little crease in the back of your knee.
Knee pit.
Knee pit. You got molasses in there.
That's what I call it. Yeah.
It's a disaster. This is kind of off topic, but I read this in the Boston Globe article, and I decided to include it because I was like, wow, this is, for some reason, they kept describing the hysteria of the women of the North End in this way. I just have to.
Because why not?
And they make it sound like women are being irrational and hysterical.
As if there weren't 2.5 million gallons of molasses and like people
that just
dead.
destroyed your house and killed your neighbors. Right.
Like,
He says
it's like these women are overreacting.
the article says, quote, "Women hysterically wrung their hands and pulled at their disheveled hair." So he's like, they're crazy and they're chopped. And occasionally a piercing, frenzied shriek of grief was uttered by some woman carrying the full horror of the situation home to the workers among the ruins. So he's like, your grieving shrieks are distracting us while we're trying to save people. We the men.
Shut up.
So shut up, you crazy old cow.
Sorry, we're playing footsies just off camera.
Off camera, we're playing footsie.
Ew, stop. Don't rub your toes on my leg. Ew, Jared, stop. It's gross.
Whatever.
It's disgusting.
Do you know what would be worse?
Your toes feel like little ferrets.
Do you know what would be worse rubbing up against your legs?
Molasses?
Fucking molasses. Yeah. So maybe when I do this, you just be grateful that it's not molasses. Okay? Ever think of that?
I'm sorry you guys had to see that. I'm sorry. He gets like this. He gets fussy.
So before we get into the aftermath of these events, I'm checking back in on you. How you doing? Do you have
I'm
any
taking
questions?
it all
Are you
in.
taking this in?
Yeah, I'm taking it in.
I wish I had like a fun little game, but I honestly was like, I feel like tonally that's
No,
not
there's
right
no
for this
fun
episode
game today, guys.
because of the molasses killing all those
The
people.
funnest part of this is the moldy brown bread costume. That's it.
Which I think you're the one who's getting the most joy out of the moldy brown bread costume, but it's cute though. I
Yeah.
like that polka dot dress.
Well, because I got to wear a cute dress. So I'm like, yippee. And I was like, oh, creative.
You're like, I don't care as long as I get to wear this cute dress.
As long as I get to wear my pretty dress.
My pretty dress and be the prettiest girl in school, which you already are.
Yeah, and that's why Jared's so jealous of me.
Fuck off. I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
fight
no,
you.
I'm taking this all in because it's been a while since I've heard this story. And I think some of the pool quotes you're using are fantastic because it just really like, I know the molasses flood sounds a little silly, and it might sound that way, but it really was horrible.
I was encountering these pull quotes and I was like,
Jesus.
oh, so it's not silly, funny, haha. Like it's actually
No, it's
deeply
not.
traumatizing and terrible.
Oh,
like,
yeah. It just also happens to like sound a little kind of far-fetched.
So the aftermath. Let's get into the
Yeah.
aftermath. So obviously an enormous human toll, destruction to the area of the North End.
Wait, so what are our total kind of numbers at the end of this? How many, can you remind us of how many people died? How many were injured?
So 21 people were killed.
Okay.
150 people were injured.
Yeah.
Some pretty grievously, like that little boy who had the skull fracture. And
I mean,
he was
yeah.
not, there were other people who had like broken backs, broken legs.
Yeah.
People got, in some of these other, because we're right on the waterfront again.
Yeah.
Some of these structures, they got pushed off their foundations and people got sucked right into the harbor and had to get fished out and stuff. And people
Sucked into the sea.
were badly hurt. So, but yeah, it's.
And then do we know how much damage this cost? This cost?
Yeah, millions of dollars in damage. And that's in like 19.
Yeah, I was like,
money.
in their money?
It was about $100 million in damage.
In their money?
In today's money.
Oh, in today's money.
$100 million in today's
Wow.
money. So it's
Wow.
it's pretty catastrophic
Yeah.
to the area. But almost immediately, as you might expect, lawsuits begin on behalf of the victims. The lawsuits are
Yeah.
opened. Victims and their families.
If I was a personal injury lawyer, if I was Top Dog Law,
I'm there. I'm on the scene the day.
if I was
of.
Harris Keenan and Goldfarb, 1-800-PAIN Law.
1-800-PAIN Law, I'm there, and people are like, oh my God, thank God you've come to help. And I'm like, I have come to help, but not in any real sense. I've come to help
you get money.
You get that money, that bread.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going around on
that Boston Brown bread.
You're on a gurney, and I'm giving you my card.
Yeah.
You're covered in molasses, and your back is broken, and I'm like,
You don't even need to give it to him. You can just kind of
put it in.
just kind of.
Well, he can't really fight me off, so I just put it in his mouth.
You can put it in his mouth. I mean, he's covered in molasses. He's sticky.
Oh,
just
I
kind of.
stick it to him.
Yeah, just kind of
Wait,
like as
that's
they go by.
perfect. Just sort of.
I know, that's what I was trying to say.
Right. That's such a good idea.
I know.
We need another molasses flood.
Someone, come on, guys. Someone's got to do
Let's
it.
make this happen, y'all.
Let's make this happen.
So let's.
We need 2.5 million gallons of molasses in a big, faulty metal tank.
and a dream. So lawsuits begin immediately.
Yeah.
There's 119 filed in all, but they're eventually consolidated into one single case. And the Supreme Judicial Court
like a class action.
like
kind
a
of.
class action,
Okay.
exactly. The Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts names a guy named Colonel Hugh W. Ogden.
Colonel Hugh W. Ogden.
Colonel Hugh W. Ogden. He
Okay.
is appointed by the SJC, the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts, as the auditor of the case. So his
Okay.
responsibility is he's going to preside over all the testimony of the victims and the people affected and representatives of the U.S. Industrial Alcohol Company, which is the, that company was
Yeah.
the owners of the tank. He's going to collect all this testimony. He's going to prepare a report,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's going to give recommendations to the court regarding liability and damages. The trial starts on August 10th, 1920. So, a year and a half now
Yeah.
after the events. And,
Neighborhood still smells like molasses.
oh, for sure.
Reeks.
The trial itself, so this collection of testimony and evidence, goes on for 3 years.
Wow.
And then it takes 2 additional years for Ogden to finish his report and submit it with recommendations to the SJC.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
So you might be sitting around here thinking like, okay, well, how the fuck is there going to be a trial here? Because what is this company going to say on its behalf?
Yeah.
Oh, trust me. They mounted a full legal defense. And their
Yeah,
legal
they're like, our
defense,
tank was great.
their legal defense is crazy. Because
what
they
is it?
literally are like, our tank was great. It was the anarchists.
It was the anarchists?
Yes.
The anarchists sabotaged our tank?
Yes. They say
Right.
anarchists based in the North End blew up the tank with TNT.
They said it's Antifa.
It was literally
They
like
said
it was Antifa.
Antifa
It was
exploded it with
terrorists.
stick of dynamite.
January 6th was not us. It was the Antifa terrorists. That's literally what they're saying. Which makes sense given the political attitudes at the time, because
Also because they're a corporation.
they are corporations.
Because this is exactly like what happens now. Like,
right, but also just like specifically the backdrop of this period is
World War One.
right, and World War One's ending.
The anarchists and
The first Red Scare, the Palmer raids happen in January of 1920.
Yep.
And also in April of 1920, very close to home, Sacco and Vanzetti, who this is a very famous trial, they are arrested in nearby Braintree, Massachusetts. They're anarchists and political radicals accused of robbing a bank and eventually are executed on pretty shoddy evidence. They deserve their own episode. That would be a good episode.
We definitely should talk about them.
But they talk specifically, the company specifically cites a few things. They say that there were anarchist placards that were found mounted on walls around the North End near the tank in the weeks and months and days leading up to the disaster.
What would the motive for the anarchists be? To explode this molasses tank?
Anarchists, I think, at this point are just seen as like boogeymen, right?
Yeah, they're just kind of like anything bad happens that they don't want to be responsible for, and they're like, it's the anarchists.
Well, there's an explosion in Haymarket Square. It was the anarchists.
It's Antifa.
Anarchists are also notorious for trying to assassinate, capitalists and politicians.
Yeah, of course, just like Antifa.
Right. So,
are you guys noticing any parallels here?
also, as with accusations against Antifa, all of the evidence is circumstantial.
Exactly. They're a mocked up kind of scapegoat where it's like
they produce nothing they produce no concrete or scientific evidence that or any even like records or written records or anything.
Not even a letter that's like, let's blow this up.
They can't implicate any specific people or prove in any way that the tank was sabotaged by explosives or anything else.
But they know it was.
But they know it was them.
They know it was because they built a good tank.
But one of the most important witnesses for the victims is a guy named.
Can I guess?
I highly doubt you're gonna know who this is.
I was gonna guess like it's like a worker. It was someone who worked there.
It is not.
Okay, never mind.
It is not. It is.
I was thinking it was like Aaron Brockovich, PG&E.
That would be fun and kind of cool if it was like an Italian immigrant who's like, like like an inspirational movie where he's like, I will stick it to the powers that be and get justice for my people. Sadly, it was a MIT professor named C.M. Spofford.
C.M. Spofford?
C.M. Spofford.
C.M. Spofford.
He testifies at the trial that the steel plates used in the construction of the tank were 10% thinner than what was specified on the building permit used to allow construction of the tank.
Just to save a little bit of money.
He also testified that the steel sheets were secured with too few rivets to successfully hold the tank together.
Mm-hmm.
The tank itself could withstand a pressure of 18,000 pounds per square inch, but Spofford testified that the likely pressure on the day of the explosion, given the amount of molasses that was actually in there,
the temperature, all the environmental,
right, was he estimated that the likely pressure was about 31,000 pounds per square inch.
Holy shit!
So
that's like more than twice,
almost twice as much.
Wow.
Yeah. This was also, as you were saying, made worse by the weather because there had been a huge swing in the temperatures. It was 40 degrees and kind of mild on the day of the explosion. But in the days before that, it had been around 0.
Yeah.
It had been really, really cold. The U.S. Industrial Alcohol Company had also done virtually no due diligence during the building of the tank.
Amazing. Great start.
Here's how they stress tested this tank.
Did some guy kind of just like push on it?
This tank is capable of holding millions of gallons of liquid. They filled it up with 6 inches of water.
What?
6 inches of water.
6 inches of water.
6 inches, yes. And they were like, well, it didn't leak. So
and
it's
you're
fine.
like, right. Well,
So
water is a completely different type of substance.
Than molasses, right?
It behaves differently. And also 6 inches, that's empty.
And you putting it 6 inches in there for like
how tall is it? like 15 stories,
It's
10 stories.
50 feet tall.
50 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
50
and
feet.
They put 6 inches of water in there for like whoever knows how long.
Yeah.
And they were like, it didn't leak, so it's fine.
Right.
And do you want to know what the saddest part is? Technically speaking, they had fulfilled their legal obligations.
What?
The laws as they existed at that time.
I can't be
No
surprised.
architect, engineer, or any person familiar with steel construction was required to inspect the tank,
What?
nor did they.
Oh my
And
God.
also, the Boston building department head, quote, this is I'm quoting directly from an article by Stephen Puleo, who is like the foremost expert on the fucking Great Molasses Flood. He wrote a book called Dark Tide.
Oh yeah, him.
Yes. He said, quote, the head of the Boston building department admitted in court that he had insufficient experience and expertise to render a proper judgment on the tank's soundness during the planning phase. And also this guy admitted in open court that he could not read a blueprint and knew nothing of engineering.
Oh my God.
Which just shows what city government was like at this time.
Yeah.
This is a period.
This is the cronyism we were talking about that we
Yes.
mentioned at the beginning.
City government at this point, everything is about giving jobs to your buddies.
Yeah.
Okay, you got me
Like
elected.
Tammany Hall bullshit.
It's exactly like Tammany Hall. It's machine politics.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy, he's been a buddy of mine for forever. I don't care that he's a funeral home director. I'm going to make him the head of the building department.
Wouldn't that be so crazy if that happened now, guys?
I know. Imagine if you were like a TV cable news host and then they made you the Secretary of Defense.
Yeah. Or imagine you were like a reality TV star and like landlord and then you became the president
Of the United States of America.
That would be so crazy.
Crazy and wacky.
That would be so crazy, guys.
Oh, and the other thing was the city
Thank
had
God
not
it's different.
the city had not supervised the construction at all because
Right.
they classified the tank as a receptacle and not as a building. So they were like, we don't do whatever the fuck.
We don't inspect receptacles.
They're like, it's also in a immigrant neighborhood, so who gives
so
a shit?
really, like, who cares?
Not my monkey, not my circus.
That's so fucked.
So yeah, 21 people died, millions of
Wow.
dollars in damages, 150 people injured.
Wow.
Colonel Ogden takes all of this testimony, writes 2 years to, parse through the evidence
Yeah.
and come up with his report and his recommendations. He releases his report in April of 1925 after taking 45,000 pages of testimony from over 3,000 witnesses.
Wow.
His report is 51 pages, and it rejected the U.S. Industrial Alcohol Company's claims about anarchist sabotage offhand because they produced literally no evidence to support this story at all.
Yeah.
So he was like, we do not credit that. He lit into the company for their failure to conduct adequate oversight, conducting basically, as we have discussed, no safety testing at all,
Yeah.
and rushing the final stages of the construction. This is when they did their little 6-inch water test.
Yeah.
They rushed the final stages of construction because a shipment of molasses was coming in. And they didn't want to spend the money or the time
can't
to
store it.
fill the tank up all the way when they were like, well, we're just going to have to empty it, and I don't want to pay for this water because we're getting our first shipment of molasses.
It's all about the bottom line.
It's all about the molasses.
It's all about the bottom line. And thank God, because 21 people died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think, worth the money saved on the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
mean,
say. Yeah.
21, it could have been 50.
It could have been more. No, that's disgusting.
Isn't that disgusting?
That's horrible. That's capitalism at work.
But literally.
That's like the point. That's the whole point.
And yeah, I mean, I don't...
Profit.
It's profit at the expense of literal human lives in this case.
And it doesn't matter. Entire neighborhoods, entire families just can have their lives upended and
because
ruined
you're
because
lazy and
you're lazy and you want to make a little more money. You need the profit to be a little bit bigger for your shareholders.
Right.
Want to widen that margin.
And Ogden doesn't place blame solely on the company. He also blames the municipal
city
government and the Boston Building Department.
Good.
Because it's also partially their fault.
They don't have the rules.
It's also their fault.
For not having the rules in place. Like, if you can't, like, people always, super capitalists always say, like, that it'll regulate itself. No, it won't.
It's case in point.
Case in point. Like,
if you don't have a regulatory state,
it will not regulate.
happens.
And if you don't have a regulatory state and you have an economic system that depends on maximizing profits at any means necessary, why would regulation be a natural byproduct of that. It doesn't make any
the
sense.
Incentives don't exist.
Exactly.
That's the problem. And this is only one example of dozens, hundreds of other examples of disasters of this kind. But of course, I picked this because, as I said in that amazing sentence that I wrote, it's among the most lurid and unforgettable of these examples in American history.
It definitely is, because
it's fucking molasses. It's a 15-foot high wave of molasses.
It's a tsunami of molasses.
Moving at you at 35 miles an hour.
I cannot imagine drowning in molasses.
No,
I
what
can't
a
imagine
horrible way to die.
It's so horrible.
So this is
wow.
Do you want to hear about the settlement? Because
Yeah.
there's the settlement. Because there is a settlement.
Am I going to be pissed off?
Yes.
Amazing.
And people at the time were also pissed off.
Spike that blood pressure. Let's go.
The total settlement paid by the United States Industrial Alcohol Company was $1 million.
Huh?
$1 million. $6,000 to the estates of each person killed, plus $25,000 to the city of Boston in restitution, and $42,000 to the Boston Elevated Railway Company, which was the private company that operated Boston's Elevated Railway, part of the bridge of which they had destroyed, or their tank had destroyed when it exploded.
Wow.
Even at the time, these amounts were seen as pretty paltry.
For what happened, yeah.
Right. I'm wondering, let me do the conversion really quick.
Yeah, let's get this in today money.
So $6,000 in 1925, converted to 2026, is roughly $115,000.
No.
Which for human life sounds low. It's low balling it.
I'm going to say it's low. I'm going to, well, I mean, and I might be crazy for this, but I really value human life. So I'm going to go ahead and say that number's a little low too.
Well, I also value human life, but you know what I really value? Molasses profits. So
I really value the profits I turn from selling my blackstrap molasses.
You ever think of that, Abe? You and your lib friends?
Sorry. Woke
You want to make it illegal to make money?
Woke got me.
So obviously the disaster did precipitate some major changes in building approvals and licensing and municipal government. Stephen Puleo, he draws the comparison. He's like, this changed, the process of building codes and building inspections and construction in cities. It had a similar effect to like what Coconut Grove did, the Coconut Grove fire, to fire codes, around the country.
Yeah.
Today, of course, it's taken on the feel of like an urban legend, a little bit. And that molasses smell thing that we were talking about briefly. So we do know for a fact that the smell lingered in the neighborhood for years.
Yeah.
Even until the 1960s, when, electrical workers were going down into the basements of houses in the North End, to check meters and stuff. Apparently the basements would smell of molasses.
Yeah.
But there's a urban legend in Massachusetts, and I heard this as a kid, that if you go to the North End on the hottest days of the summer, it still smells like molasses.
Does it?
WGBH, my former employer, they have a show on GBH News called The Curiosity Desk, where they asked a bunch of Harvard scientists who are like experts on the sense of smell about whether or not that was possible, and some of them said that, yeah, it could be possible. They were like, if there are pockets of molasses hidden someplace, somehow, there's no reason, based on, what the substances that are actually, in molasses and how smell works, there's no reason that some people wouldn't be able to actually still smell it. So it is possible, I guess. But, so that's the story of the Great Molasses Flood, Abe.
Wow.
I mean, lots of
sticky,
icky mess.
Sticky, stinky mess.
And
that's fucked up. It's really, it's government incompetence and corporate neglect. And unfortunately, this is the result of that. This is the result,
of all of
all this bull.
Of all this bullshit.
Of all this bullarchy.
And it shows why we need, I guess,
we need regulation.
Strong regulations to protect people from being killed in a tsunami of molasses.
We do.
And you know what? If you go to the North End today, you take a nice leisurely stroll to Copp's Hill, you look down.
Yeah.
You see where the tank used to be. Spare a thought for the lives lost. And also for the lives saved by the changing building code regulations caused.
So this didn't happen again.
So that this didn't happen again. Think of that, people.
And I haven't heard of a molasses flood happening here since then.
I have not heard of one either, but
so
we might make one happen
yeah, I mean,
in Murray Hill.
if you guys want to be part of this, let
If you
us
guys
know.
want to help us plan our molasses flood in Murray Hill, DM us on Instagram or anywhere on socials at That's History Babe.
Go ahead and follow us while you're there.
Yeah, please do.
And you could become a member of our YouTube channel or subscribe to our Patreon if you want to see more bonus content from us.
Right, and if you want to see how to make
Behind the scenes of the molasses flood that we're going to do.
if you want to see how to make some, what are they, bacon fat,
They were 1918
World
Bacon-
War I ration.
bacon grease. They were bacon grease soft molasses cookies.
And we tried to make them for our first installment of our bonus series, That's Cooking, Babe.
And I think that I don't think we tried to make them. I think that we did make them.
We did make them.
I think that's just like
I
what
ate
they're
one
like.
of them. I ate 2 of them.
I think that's just what they're like.
So, yeah, I mean.
And they were so special. So
And if you want to learn how to make them too, follow us on Patreon.
Yeah.
Go on over to our Patreon.
go become a sister.
Become a sister. Join the convent.
Join the convent.
You could become a postulant.
Mm-hmm.
Become a novice, a sister.
Mother
even a
superior.
Mother Superior.
We've only got one right now.
We do.
So she's in charge.
But if you want your names on the credit of this episode,
Yeah. That's how you get it. That's how it happens.
that's how it goes down. So
But we hope you enjoyed this episode.
it's kind of sad, kind of sticky.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer. But it's definitely an interesting story. And it was requested. And people are always asking. I mean, by always, I mean twice.
Yeah.
Asking us to talk about this. And it's a little piece of Boston history from our favorite masshole.
Right. Me. She's talking about me.
I'm talking about him.
And if
Because
you,
I can't stand anyone else from there.
And if you want to, us to do an episode on a topic, feel free to submit it. And we'll
Yeah.
put it in one of our members only episode polls. So So think about that. But until then, while you're cooking up your good ideas for more ridiculous historical knowledge for us to dig up, I'm Jared.
And I'm Abe.
And
And
that's,
that's
history,
babe.
Have a pleasant evening. We love you so much. Pleasant evening, pleasant day.
Pleasant day. Stay out of sticky situations.
Yeah.
Don't make unnecessary journeys.
Don't take risks on treacherous
don't
roads.
take risks
and
on
don't
treacherous-
swim on.
Do not swim in the
sea.
molasses. Oh.
Don't swim in the molasses.
And
Don't
do
swim in the
not
molasses.
swim in the molasses.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.